Hello, everyone. Welcome to Nilanjana's exclusive English lessons. Today, we are learning the poem Skimbleshanks, the Railway Cat, written by T.S. Eliot. Many of you had requested this poem, and that's the reason I'm teaching this poem today to all of you. I hope all of you are doing well. Those who are watching me for the first time, this is Nilanjana Sarkar, and on this channel, you will find content related to ICSE, ISC, and CBSE English. So, without much chit chat, let me start explaining the poem. This poem is written by T.S. Eliot. Now, T.S. Eliot is mainly known for writing a lot of complex subjects. Most of his poems are quite dark and heavy. Comparatively, this poem is, he talks about the main character, Skimbleshanks, in a very playful and light-hearted manner. This is a narrative poem. Now, narrative poem means like it tells a story. Tells the story of whom? Tells the story of Skimbleshanks, who is the main protagonist. And at the same time, you can also say that this is kind of a descriptive poem because it also describes the cat. So, who is Skimbleshanks? Skimbleshanks is a male cat, and his main work, his main duty is to see that everything is perfectly maintained or everything is running smoothly or not in the night mail, in the train. He works diligently, and his main duty is to supervise everything about the train. Now, when we travel by a train, I'm sure all of us are very particular whether everything is when we travel by a train, we all are very particular about the food, the seat, the place, whether everything in our journey is perfect or not. And whose responsibility is this to see whether everything is perfect or not? Of course, it is the supervisor, the manager of the train. His main job is to see that all the passengers are having a comfortable journey or not, whether the food that is served is perfect or not, everything from A to Z, everything should be good enough so that the passengers do not get a chance to complain, right? Everybody, when we travel, we always try to make sure that this is something that has to be there. So similarly, in this poem also, Skimbleshanks the railway cat makes sure that every passenger in the train is comfortable, everything about the train is perfect, and there is no chance of anybody feeling bad or complaining about the journey. He makes sure that the train runs smoothly and finally reaches the destination so that all the passengers can have a wonderful journey. So I'm going to read the poem line by line and I'm going to explain. There's a whisper down the line at 11:39 when the night mail's ready to depart. So there's a whisper down the line. Whisper down the line means there's a confusion at 11:39. Just before the train departs, there is some kind of chaos and confusion. When the night mail is the train that's going to depart at night. Depart means it would leave the station and move towards this destination. Like when you arrive at any station or even in the airport, you see there's something called departure and there's something called arrival. Arrival means when you arrive, and depart means when you leave and start moving towards your destination. Saying, Skimble, where is Skimble? Has he gone to hunt the thimble? So here, everybody is trying to find out and trying to ask that Skimble, where is he? Where is he? Has he gone to hunt the thimble? Now, thimble is a kind of a game that is usually played by small children, kind of a thing where you have to go and find a particular thing. It could be a treasure or it could be something that is hidden. So with the help of chits, usually small children, they go and find the thing which they have been asked to find. So the passengers are telling that where is Kimble? Has he gone to hunt the thimble? We must find him or the train can't start. So definitely we have to find him because he is the main person behind the train. He has to give the green signal. Otherwise, of course, the train cannot start. All the guards and all the porters and the station master's daughters, they are searching high and low. Everybody is looking for him. Everybody is searching for Skimble. Where is he? The guard, the porters. The porters means people who carry the luggage. In Hindi, we say coolie. And not only that, even the station master's daughters. Skimbleshanks is such an important character that it's not only the station master who's looking for him, but also the daughters of the station masters, even they are trying to find him. And they are searching high and low. High and low is an idiom. What does it mean? It means everywhere. So everywhere people are searching for him. And who are searching? The guards, the porters, and even the station master's daughters, saying, Skimble, where is Skimble? For unless he is very nimble, then the night mail just can't go. So unless he is very nimble. Now, unless is a negative condition. What does this mean? If not. So if he is not very nimble, the word nimble means active. If Skimbleshanks is not very active, then the night mail just can't go. Of course, how will the night mail depart towards his destination? If he is not there and if he is not very active, because he needs to be there on the train, then only the train can depart for his destination. Without him, it's quite impossible for the train to depart. He's such an important character. At 11:42, then the signal's nearly due, when it's almost time for the signal, and the passengers are frantic to a man. Frantic means frenzy. They are very excited. So everybody is very excited. Everybody is in a frenzy. To a man means everyone. Then Skimble will appear and he'll saunter to the rear. So then, just at that point of time, Skimbleshanks will appear and he'll saunter to the rear. Saunter means he'll be very quick to move towards the rear. Rear means back, the last part of the train, because he's been busy in the luggage van. Where was he? He was actually in the luggage van to see that everything is prim and proper or not. So that is the moment when he's going to appear, just at the point of time when the signal is almost ready and everybody is frenzy. Everybody is very excited, like, where is that man? Because without him, the train can't start. And that is when he'll appear and he'll saunter to the rear. He's going to be very quick, move towards the rear part of the train, and he's been busy in the luggage van. Now, where is the train going? Now, the train is going towards the northern hemisphere. You will see in the poem that the poet talks about the fact that the train is moving towards the north, and he gives one flash of his class green eye. So who gives one flash? Skimbleshanks. He gives one flash of his class green eye. Class green eyes refers to the eyes of Skimbleshanks, and he gives a signal with his eye. And what is the signal that he gives? All clear. And we are off at last for the northern part of the northern hemisphere. So finally, everything is settled, everything is perfect, and now it's time for the train to move ahead, to start the journey. And even everybody, you can say, heaves a sigh of relief, because now they don't have to worry. Skimbleshanks is already there and everything will be taken care of. So now the journey is going to be a super smooth one. Now the fact that Skimbleshanks appears or comes at his own will, at his own time, also gives us an idea that he's quite independent and he has his own schedule and he has his own priorities. Like, he doesn't listen to anybody. He has his own style, and in his own manner, at his own time, he came and he gave the green signal. Those who are watching this channel for the first time, and if you are enjoying the content, request you to subscribe to the channel and share this video with your friends and those of you who need some kind of help in understanding the poem. And your subscription helps me a lot. It helps me to a wider audience, of course. And those who have already subscribed, I'm really grateful, because I read your comments. And thank you so much for subscribing and following my videos. There are a couple of videos on my channel, Julius Caesar Treasure Chest, and I'm sure many of you have already watched them. Those who haven't, you can go ahead and watch the line by line explanation of Julius Caesar drama and also the stories from Treasure Chest. Those who are also keen to join my online classes, you can drop a mail in this ID. I have shared the ID here. You can just send me your details. Online classes for ICSE and ISC. Registrations are on, admissions are still going on. So you can drop a mail. You may say that by and large, it is Skimble who's in charge of the sleeping car express. By and large. Now, you may say, the poet is telling that you may say that by and large. Now, what is by and large? This is also an idiom. This means that in general, who's in charge of the sleeping car express? It is Skimbleshanks. He is the main person behind the train, the way it functions, the way it takes care of everything. He is the main person. From the driver and the guards to the bagman playing cards, he will supervise them all more. So he takes care of the passengers that we have already seen, because without his signal, the train couldn't start. But not only the passenger, he also supervises the driver, the guard. The guards of the train means the people who are there to see the protection, the safety and security of the train. The bagman playing cards. Bagman playing cards means, now sometimes when they don't have any work, what do? They play cards. They entertain themselves. That is how they keep them occupied. Because of course, a train journey usually is a journey that takes some time. It is a journey which is longer comparative to any other forms of traveling. So what do this bagmen do? They play cards when they are free. When they do not have any work, they play cards at that time. So he will supervise them all more or less. The bagman refers to the people who manage the bag. Everybody is under his power, and everybody is under his discipline, and he supervises everybody more or less. Down the corridor he paces. Paces means he walks up and down and examines all the faces. He examines the faces of all the passengers, of the travelers in the first and the third. So passengers who are traveling in the first class, passengers who are traveling in the third class. So he examines everybody's face to see if everything is perfect or not. I'm sure all of you can relate with this situation. Like when we are on a train, the attendant, he comes and then he checks the ticket, and then he, tries to match the photo ID with the ticket, and he examines everybody's face, sees whether you are that person or not, or whether somebody else is traveling or not under your identity. Examine means analyze. He establishes control by a regular patrol. Patrol refers to a check, a systematic regular check or inspection of an area or place. So he establishes control by a regular patrol. So regularly he inspects, he checks, and that is how he establishes his control. And he would know at once if anything occurred. And if anything occurs in the train, inside the train, he is the first person to know. Of course, how can somebody escape his eyes? Because he has very sharp eyes, he is very alert, and he is very diligent in performing his duties. He will watch you without winking, and he sees what you're thinking. Not only that, he will watch you without winking. He will not even let a wink come between you and, his duties. So that he's so perfect, so diligent in his duties, and he will see what you are thinking. If you have any mischievous ideas in your mind, that also he will come to understand. And it is certain that he doesn't approve of hilarity and wrath. And this is also very clear that Skimbleshanks doesn't approve these two things. What is that? One is hilarity and the other is right. Hilarity means it comes from the word hilarious. When there's a lot of laughing, joking, which creates a lot of noise. He doesn't like all that. He's a very disciplined person, and also no riot. Riot means no fights, no quarrels. So he doesn't approve all these things. And that is the reason the folk are very quiet. Folk means the people, the passengers. They are very quiet. So very quiet, and in a very calm and quiet manner, they are in the train when especially Skimble is about and on the move. So when he is around, when he's doing his duty and he's guarding and inspecting everything, nobody dares to make any noise, nobody dares to laugh, nobody dares to make any mischief. He's a strict disciplinarian, you can say. You can play no pranks with Skimbleshanks. He's very sharp, and you actually do not even have the gut to play any prank. Now, what is the meaning of the word prank? Prank means playful or mischievous act. So nobody can do that. He is a cat that cannot be ignored. Of course, he's a cat and who cannot be ignored. Now, many of you must be asking me, ma'am, why does Eliot give the description of Skimbleshanks in the form of a cat? Now, T.S. Eliot has written many poems about cats, and actually in this poem he wanted to create a playful tone, and that's the reason he has written about, he's created this character of Skimbleshanks, who is a cat. But if you see the personality, the traits that he has been given, they are all very much human. Actually, there's a full book on cats that Eliot has written, and in that book he has mentioned about their different personalities. I'm sure many of you have even read the poem Macavity the Mystery Cat. Like, let me see how many of you have read the poem. Usually in the lower grades, this poem is there in your literature textbook. So there also, even in Macavity, he has described a notorious criminal in the form of a cat. But yes, there's a lot of difference and contrast between Skimble and Macavity, because Macavity is dark. The theme of Macavity is comparatively dark and ominous, whereas this poem is very light-hearted. Yeah, let me get back to this, to the poem. I off track. But yes, of course, whenever you study literature, always remember to compare and contrast two texts, two poems written by the same author sometimes, or where you have similar ideas. This will help you in a broader understanding of the subject. You can play no pranks with Skimble Shanks. He's a cat that cannot be ignored, so nothing goes wrong on the Northern Mail when Skimble Shanks is aboard. So when he is aboard, when he is there with everybody on the train, then nobody can do anything and nothing can go wrong. That is the authority that Skimble is very powerful and is very influential. Oh, it's very pleasant when you have found your little den with your name written up on the door. Here we can see that what kind of experience a passenger has on the train, especially in the sleeping car. Now, when we are enjoying the journey, which is usually an overnight journey, we all prefer to have a place, the sleeping coach especially, which is very good and neat and tidy, and everything is, spick and span. So it's very pleasant when you have found your little den. Little den refers to the place where you're going to spend the night, especially I hope all of you can understand, the sleeping car. And when you have your name written up on the door and you know that this place is meant for you and you're quite happy, pleasant to see this wonderful place that has been allotted for you. And the berth is very neat with a new folded sheet. And the berth is very neat. Berth is the bed. You can also call it a bunk. So in the train, where your bed or where your berth is very neat and you have crisp folded sheet, the blankets are very neat, tidy, crisp. As I have said, that there's not a speck of any dirt to be found on the floor. So obviously everybody will enjoy this experience, right? Nobody wants to travel in a train which is shabby, dusty, and filled with cobwebs all around. So here also, the poet tells that it's so pleasant when I find a place that I'm going to spend the night in the train. I have my berth, which is very neat and tidy, and there's no dust on the floor. There is every sort of light. You can make it dark or bright. Not only that, even the lighting is perfect. If you want to make it dark, yes, you have the option. If you want to make it bright, then also there's an option. There's a handle that you turn to make a breeze. So these are the amenities, the facilities the train usually gives. And most of the time, if you're traveling by a good train, the train is well equipped, right? So you have the light, the proper lighting. You can also have the proper fan. So if you want to just turn the handle, you can really have a cool, nice breeze. There's a funny little basin you're supposed to wash your face in, and a crank to shut the window if you sneeze. A crank is a lever attached to a wheel that is turned to provide a rotary motion. So what do you have? You have even a basin that you want to wash your face. Especially you will get all these amenities when you're traveling in a first class. Okay. And a crank to shut the window if you sneeze. So if you want to sneeze, you also have a lever attached to the window and to shut the window. If you feel that the night air is quite cool and you are catching up a cold, you can even shut down the window. Then the guard looks in politely and will ask you very brightly. So the guard is there right outside your door and he asks you very politely, and not only politely but also very brightly, in a very happy and spirited manner. He will ask you, do you like your morning tea weak or strong? So he's trying to attend to you, giving you everything what you need, especially the morning tea. So do you want it really strong or do you want to have it weak? But Skimble's just behind him and was ready to remind him. So Skimble is just behind him. So it's the guard who's asking you the questions, just to trying to see whether you have everything as per your likes and dislikes. Skimble Shanks is present during the passenger's time in the sleeping car. And when the guard is checking on the passenger and offering them tea, that time also he is present. He's ready to remind the guard that, if there is anything wrong. But Skimble's just behind him and was ready to remind him. So what is he doing there? He's behind the guard, trying to remind him that if everything is fine or not, if there is anything wrong. For Skimble won't let anything go wrong. And when you creep into your cozy berth and pull up the counterpane, you ought to reflect that it is very nice to know that you won't be bothered by. You can leave all that to the railway cat, the cat of the railway train. So Skimbleshanks is always present. He will make sure that everything runs smooth, and not only that, that the passenger has a comfortable and a peaceful journey. He will also make sure that the sleeping car is well maintained and clean, and the passenger also well taken care of. So when you are finally ready to, get into your inside on your bed and then ready for the sleep, a warm, comfortable berth that you have been given by the train, and pull up the counterpane. So when you're ready to pull up the counterpane, that time you ought to reflect. You have to reflect. You have to think. The word reflect means you have to think that it is very nice to know that you won't be bothered by mice. So nothing will be of any kind of botheration for you. The journey is going to be perfectly smooth and peaceful because the entire responsibility of managing the train is left to Skimbleshanks, the railway cat, the cat of the railway train. In the watches of the night, he is always fresh and bright. Every now and then, he has a cup of tea. So, in the watches of the night, especially at night when he is on his duty, of course, doing night duty is not an easy task. I'm sure many of you know that night is the time when our body craves for sleep, right? So people who are doing night duty, they have their duty at night. It's little strenuous for them. But Skimbleshanks is so active that he's always fresh and bright. Even in the watches of the night, he's very fresh, he's very bright, very active. To keep himself active, every now and then he has a cup of. So I hope fresh and bright, meaning you have understood fresh means he's fresh, he's active. And bright means also he is like very he's bright, he's not dull. And every now and then he has a cup of tea. Every now and then, why does he have a cup of tea? Of course, he needs that energy, right? Tea always gives us that required energy. So he also has a cup of tea. And sometimes he also takes it with a drop of scotch. He also sometimes takes it with he takes a little drink with it while he's keeping on the watch. So he also has his drink. Sometimes with tea, he takes it while he's keeping on the watch, while he's doing his duty, only stopping here and there to catch a flea. Sometimes, very rarely, he will be a little casual, but most of the time, he will be very, very dutiful and diligent. So, with perhaps a drop of scotch while he's keeping on the watch, this means that sometimes Skimbleshanks has a casual and relaxed attitude while on duty, having a cup of tea and even, a bit of whiskey. And he does this. Sometimes he does it. Most of the time, as we have discussed in the entire poem, that he's very, very dutiful, diligent, hardworking, alert. But sometimes, once in a while, he's little casual. To catch a flea also refers to, sometimes a fly, when it is around him, he tries to catch it. That shows that sometimes he becomes a little relaxed. You were fast asleep at Crewe, and so you never knew that he was walking up and down the station. So when this station arrived, this is the name of a station. So you were fast asleep. Everybody, you refers to the passenger. So you were fast asleep and you didn't know that he was walking up and down the station. He was doing his duty. You were sleeping all the while he was busy at Carlisle. So he was doing his duty even in this station. And that time, everybody, probably they were all sleeping because, of course, it is night time, where he greets the station master with elation. Elation means in a very high-spirited manner, elated, extremely happy. So Crewe, Carlisle, these are all cities in England. Crewe is a town in England and it's known for its railway station. Carlisle is also a historic city in northern England. When he greets the station master with elation at Carlisle, that time probably even you were sleeping, but you saw him at Dumfries. So Dumfries is also a market town, and this is in the southern part of Scotland, where he speaks to the police if there is anything they ought to know about. So if he feels that there is something he needs to report to the police for the journey, that is where you see him even talking to the police. Because if there is anything that has gone wrong, he needs to report it to the police, right? And that is where he does it. at Dump. When you get to Gallowgate, there you do not have. So when you finally go to reach this station, Gallowgate, it's a road. You can say a road in Scotland. There you don't have to wait. Why? Because he will help you to get. He gives you a wave of his long brown tail, which says, I will see you again. You will meet him without fail on the midnight mail, the cat of the railway. So finally, this is where you will get down, and when you will get down at your destination, he will give you a wave of his long brown. So it's a cat has a long brown tail, and he will wave at you with his long brown tail, which shows that he's greeting you. This is a way to greet the passenger, and he will say as if that I will see you again. And definitely the poet tells that you will meet Skimble without fail on the midnight, which is the cat of the who is the cat of the railway train. So finally, this brings to the end of the poem. What we can summarize in short about the poem is that Skimbleshanks maintains a vigilant watch over the train. He performs a variety of tasks. He makes sure everything is perfect or not in the train. The passengers are having a smooth, comfortable journey or not. Not only that, we can see that he's very dedicated to his work, dedicated to his job. He's very hardworking. Sometimes, once in a while, he becomes a little casual and relaxed, but not at the cost of the passenger's safety or comfort. When he sees that everybody is sleeping peacefully and all his duty is done, maybe he will stop for a cup of tea, and that time also he will also take a drink, because just to relax, maybe because everybody needs to relax one at some point time of the other. When we are too burdened with our duties and responsibilities, it's quite natural for people to relax a little, and I think Skimble also does the same thing. So we can't blame that why is he doing so. So therefore, he's a very dedicated, a hard-working member of the train's crew who's always on the lookout for anything that might threaten the safety of the passengers. So at any point of time, even if he feels that something has to be reported, he does it and he reports it to the police and in that specific station. So I hope, I hope the poem was clear. If you have a doubt, you can ask in the comment. And thank you so much for listening to the video. Thank you for subscribing. And those who haven't, I repeat, please do subscribe to the channel. And it motivates me a lot to create free lessons like this. You can also contribute a small amount with the super thanks, which will continue helping me in creating lessons, free lessons like this. And yes, there are also some courses available which have benefited many of my students. One, there's an ebook which comes at a very less price, a grammar ebook where you have all the main concepts of grammar explained to you. Then there's a wonderful course on tense. Tense is, of course, a major concern for many students. So there are loads of worksheets also in this course. And yes, there's also a writing skill course where I've explained how to go about an email writing, and this is even for adults. All right, so these courses, the links of these courses are shared on the description box. Please go ahead and check and take benefit. With this, let me bid adieu. Thank you once again and see you soon in my next video. Bye-bye.